Hello and welcome. I'm David Sarnoff, and I'm an executive coach and the director of strategic partnerships for Loeb Leadership, and I'm the principal of the Sarnoff Group. Grateful and thankful to be joined today by Mr. Ron Jordan. Ron is the founder of Carter White and Shaw, and he's probably the most experienced and knowledgeable legal recruiter for attorneys of color, particularly Black attorneys in the United States, if not the world. So good morning, Ron.
Good morning, David. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well, sir. So, Ron, can you tell us a little bit about your career path and how you got to where you are today?
Well, I left college in 1984, the ripe old age of 28. I hadn't gathered the kind of career that I wanted, so I got in the staffing industry. And for the next 7 years or so, I was able to experience some disparaging attitudes within the staffing business in relation to Black professionals, specifically, and professionals of color. It just so happened that one of my friends from then known as Boat Law School had asked me to help him find a job. But prior to that, we'd always had a relationship and other partnerships that I had helped start. But this time I was going to do this on my own. So in 1991, October 15th to be exact, Tim Moppet and I had stayed friends, and just about a couple moments after that, starting, the firm he worked for at the time, the largest Black-owned law firm, imploded. I found Tim a job with Dwayne Morris after he supplied me with Martindale and Hubble S2Z, and I started a lifelong friendship and mentorship with William Hastie, Jr., whose father was the first African-American appointed to the federal bench. It's been a ride. It's been a challenge. I had one very prominent legal search firm partner and founder tell me that diversity and inclusion was a fad, which has endured, as you and I know, many incarnations. But what the challenge has always been is the fairness and equity within the legal business, which has been the foundation for a lot of the changes in our society.
So, Ron, you and I have known each other a long time, and we've spent many hours talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And in particular, a couple of years ago, in connection with Loeb Leadership planning a diversity and inclusion roundtable, you and I started talking about, what are the solutions, particularly in law firms. And you mentioned, we need more white allies to sponsor and mentor and help develop the careers of attorneys of color, particularly Black attorneys. So, Ron, can you please define for me what a white ally is?
White ally is someone that understands both spiritually, economically, how they can help the next generation of lawyers of color taking their firms into the next century. Just based on demographics, we know what that looks like.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. No. Go ahead, Ron.
No, that is the essence of a white ally, as far as I'm concerned.
So you mentioned demographics, Ron. So I think according to the ABA back in 2018, African-American associates made up about 4% of all associates in law firms, and African-American partners made up less than 2% of all partners. So the numbers have remained there for quite some time, even though firms have dedicated millions and collectively tens of millions of dollars to the diversity and inclusion effort, but the results just don't seem to follow in a substantial way. So if a law firm partner came to you, a white partner, and said, Ron, I want to be a white ally, what are 2-3 steps they can take at that time?
The first one is to identify the talent that's within the midst of the firm. The firm has already figured out that they have within their realm of influence a very talented Black attorney or attorney of color. Number 2, promotion. And I would think number three is advancement and support.
So, it seems that the results from our roundtable, we issued a report, and there were some interesting findings that, attorneys of color, particularly Black attorneys, when they do move to a new firm or they elevate within their own firm, that there's this expectation that they're going to represent their firms at diversity and inclusion conferences, at lunches, at bar events, and it's non-billable time. It's time away from their business development, their career development, their skill development, while white partners are taking clients out to lunch and dinner and working on business development plans. What can law firm leadership do to address this issue? Because, again, my colleagues and I, our mantra is leaders model the behavior they expect of others, and they hold themselves accountable and others accountable when they don't meet expectations. So where's the disconnect between the investment and the results?
Well, you just answered your own question. When you have CMCP or MCAA, CMCP being the California equivalent of MCAA, so they might argue that point, is the people that show up should not be the attorneys of color to promote their own participation, with general counsel. Lori Robinson started CCWC back in her apartment back in Harlem. It has grown to be the greatest, best attended conference for women of color in the country. The one thing law firms don't seem to get is that you have to start from the bottom to the top, and that includes administration. The legal marketing department, the career services department has to be filled with people of color, and not just white women, to promote those attorneys of color to the outside world, potential clients as well as institutional clients. So if law firm management would get out of the way, that would probably be the easiest way for this to continue to be successful, and take people with them on presentations and pitches and things of that nature.
Yeah, I've noticed on TV over the past couple of days, I've seen African-American generals and corporate leaders who say it's going to take white men and women to contribute to this effort to help balance the disparity and deficit in diversity, equity, and inclusion numbers. And, you talk a lot about how outside counsel can play a pivotal role in helping change the population of law firms. Can you speak a little bit more to the role of general counsels in this effort?
Well, it's pretty simple. It's their goddamn money. We've tried over the last 30 years to use the carrot and the stick. I'm more inclined to use 2x4 to hit somebody side of the head. We've tried,
metaphorically, Ron, not literally.
Well, you may think so, but that's up to you. Many in-house counsel have been law firm partners, and the reluctance or fear to look under the hood of their outside counsel is ridiculous. Johnson & Johnson spends $4.5 billion in the talcum powder cases. They have actively gone out to find diverse attorneys of color, Michael Brown from Nelson Mullen, because of the trials they're at and the jurisdictions they're at. And that's smart business. That's whether they win the cases or not is really immaterial to some extent, because the point is that when you hire outside counsel, you want to be a mirror reflection of the people that you are servicing as your customer base. So if that is the case and you're spending millions of dollars in legal fees, you want your outside counsel to be reflective of protecting your position, be it in court or on a deal. In-house counsel has to be more participatory in working with outside counsel. And if that means that they have to help replace the management team of their outside counsel, so be it. Otherwise, don't use the outside counsel. Pretty simple.
Well, thank you, Ron. I really appreciate the time you took today, and I look forward to having many more conversations with you on this topic.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it.